Good morning, good evening, bonjour, bonsoir, bienvenue à tous. Welcome everyone to this week's edition of the Wada Forum. We are so happy to have you all here today with us, back getting ready for all the exciting things coming to us this next phase. So we'll start off with a little overview of our agenda. As always, today we'll go through sort of our opening things, and then the highlight of today will be talking a little bit more about the DREPs, and then also our community updates. I think we're all getting excited for Catalyst Fund 13 coming soon, but I better not spoil it all. Next slide. So as we usually like to kick it off with our statement of purpose, we have a couple people with us here today, so I think I'll call on someone from our audience to read the statement of purpose in English. Emmanuel, would you be so kind as to do the honors, reading the English
Okay,
statement of purpose?
thank you. Statement of purpose, our mission to elevate underrepresented groups through the application of technology and invest in a more equitable future. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. And then one day I'm going to call on Mercy for the French. Mercy, are you ready today?
For the French, one day is good. Not today, but one day will be good.
Okay, maybe I'll save you today then. Notre déclaration de but, notre mission, promouvoir les groupes sous-représentés grâce à l'application de la technologie et investir dans un avenir plus équitable. Here's our French version. Next, we like to start these things off with a brief recap of the previous meeting for anyone who was absent, but also just to remind us of what happened last time and get us in that headspace. So, Adufwa, would you be so kind as to share with us this part?
Yes, hello everyone. So last week we're back from our break and we announced that the Catalyst Fund 13 was going to be launched on the 25th of September. The link in the slides is a link to all the deadlines and the information that we might need for Fund 13. We also said that Wada Global will strategize for Fund 13 and focus on how we can support the various hubs with the proposals. Last week as well, we announced that Intersect Africa hubs have been launched in Central Africa by the Goma hub supported by the Cameroon team, and then in West Africa as well, led by IFIA. Last week, we also had some DREPs on the forum. We had the WADA DREP and we had a community DREP called Lauku. Megan, I hope I mentioned that well. And then, yes, we are inviting our community members who have DREPs to also come present their DREPs at the WADA forum. We also said that it's still a collaborative work and then we are not in competition with each other, hoping to establish a universal framework for everybody. Thank you, Megan. Back to you.
Ok, bon, je vois déjà les francophones parmi nous, alors je vais prendre quelques minutes pour vous saluer. Merci d'être venu. Un petit récapitulatif des réunions précédentes. Bon, de la session dernière, nous avons fait quelques petites présentations de DREP. Nous avons parlé de notre DREP de WADA, que Nana Safo est en train de gérer. Et j'ai aussi présenté un DREP auquel je participe. C'est une DREP de groupe et ça s'appelle l'Alcool. Et bon, si vous voulez plus d'informations sur ça, il faut regarder notre réunion dernière où nous avons aussi présenté sur Catalyst Africa Town Hall. Si vous voulez regarder là-bas, c'est une autre ressource. Mais en général, nous avons mentionné le fonds de 13 aussi, qui serait lancé bientôt. Et je crois que nous allons entrer plus en détail avec cette séance aujourd'hui. Thanks. Next slide. So this is the part of the call where we get into our community network updates. And, you know, we like to update in really three main areas. We have Project Catalyst and Cardano side of things, Intersect, and then Singularity Net as well. So here I will pass the mic over to Mercy. She can give us some updates in these different areas.
All right. So we're actually waiting for Samuel. He will be talking a bit more about especially the Singularity Net side of things. But in terms of Fund 13 strategy, that is something that we are looking forward to vigorously discuss on this call, maybe next week or the week after Fund 13 is actually launched and we know more the rules. So let's be on the lookout for that in terms of how we can, figure out how we leverage our network. Together, we are always stronger, and to acquire funding for our various initiatives, especially on the ground, and also from a global perspective. So just be on the lookout for that in terms of Fund 13 updates. Samuel is here. Samuel, do you have anything to say about Fund 13? I'm putting you on the spot. Maybe let me run through and then you can.
Yes, Mercy, I'm here. Sorry, we had another call on the DF4 project with Edify and Remostat. It's even on the bill on this particular program. We're going to talk about that. So I just had to even jump off for this. You want me to share information on the Fund 13 updates now? Is it time for that now? Or maybe once I've just joined?
Sorry, Samuel, you kind of joined us. Mercy was starting on some general updates, but if you're here, that'd be awesome if you could just talk to us a little bit of an overview of the different updates for Fund 13 and then getting into the Singularity Net as well.
Yes, so I'll take that right away. In terms of the updates that we want to share, we have titled it what is GlobalArts and Hub's strategy for the Fund 13. And we like to refresh our memories on what happened in Fund 12 and the fact that it will still be in place except there are changes to the rules in Fund 13, which we'll likely get to know after the launch. So for this particular purpose, we want to remind ourselves for the fact that Global will be taking a similar approach to Fund 13 as it were in Fund 12, to the extent that the rules remain the same. When we say this, it's in reference to the fact that, in Fund 12, the rule was that an entity can have up to 6 proposers. And this one actually bars Global from allowing hubs to use the brand in their own proposals. So what we are trying to do is that Global will submit its own proposals. But while we are doing that, we are also setting up a scheme to assist the hubs with their own proposals as well, but without utilizing Wada titles. So hubs have their own, hubs can actually go ahead, write their own proposals. And here we want to state that Global has not got any operational oversight on what hubs proposals will be. But the only thing we seek to do is to help in the validation and the verification of the ideas that the hubs are going to put forth. So we are going to set up or create a sheet, a Google Sheet, where we ask any hub lead or any member of Wada Global who is planning to put any proposal to make it available to us. We'll look at it, we'll document it, we'll share our ideas, we will try and validate it, as I already said, and make sure it is strong enough, and we position it. And when it comes to promotions and voting, maybe Global will help in that direction as well. And yes, that is what we are going to do now. But this is barring any updates or changes in the rules for Fan 13. If after the launch, the rules change, and that the fact that an entity may have more than 6 proposals, then we can lift that bar and ask people to use the WADA titling and everything. We fully appreciate the benefits of using the WADA brand extensively by the hubs, because that we know positions the proposals in a good light. But that is beyond Global, because we need to play by the rules. So these are a few updates that we want to share as far as the Fan 13 is concerned. So just a quick summary.
Yeah, Samuel, I wanted to ask a question here. I know you kind of talked for a little bit. Just want to make sure I'm understanding. So for Fan 13, it sounds like WADA is ready to continue proposing. Is that correct? And then second question is, what should the process be for any hubs or individuals who want to co-propose with WADA or suggest something as a WADA global proposal? Who is the point of contact for anyone to reach out to if they do want to co-propose with WADA?
Yes. Mercy, can I finish then? I guess you can.
Sorry. Yeah, please go ahead.
This comes to what I was saying about the fact that we are taking a similar approach that like we took in Fan 12. Global will submit its own proposals. And so the issues about co-proposing with WADA and utilization of the WADA brand in proposal titling and the rest, we may have to wait a bit to look at the rules that Fan 13 is going to come with. And then we will quickly align. So if after the launch next week, we all know the rules of Fan 13, if there are any things that we need to do, we can quickly schedule an emergency meeting with the hubs and align the strategies that we are putting forth in this funding round based on the rules that is going to come. But I was just saying that if the rules stays the same, then we will utilize the same approach that we used in Fan 12. And in terms of who to contact for project updates that you said, Megan, hub leads can contact me. My email address active, or the WhatsApp channels anyhow. And the core team will look at the concerns and address them accordingly. Mercy, I don't know if you want to add some more.
Yes, the only thing that I'll add is that WADA is ready to put in proposals, Megan. So that's regarding your first question. And then also, as I said in the beginning, I think that maybe for us not to, conclude anything right now until we actually know what the rules are. And then we can get together again and figure out what the strategy should be. So I think that we still have time to figure out these things. And I just want us to remember that right now, even beyond Catalyst, gradually, as Voltaire is rolling out, right now there's Chang 1. Once Chang 2 comes into place, there will be a more, or should I say that there will be alternatives to Catalyst, right? And this has to do with the Cardano budget as a whole. And that is something that as a network, we need to position ourselves strategically to be able to get resources to do the kind of long-term onboarding, education, innovation stuff that we do. So I want us to have that at the back of our minds, that we are still very embedded in Catalyst, but we should also look beyond Catalyst in terms of being involved in governance. And when I say governance, I mean Cardano governance, getting involved. So I'm going to talk about Intersect, being involved in Intersect, because that is how we can also strategize to position ourselves to expand Cardano in Africa. So I will very quickly talk about the next, which is
Mercy.
Oh, sorry,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Would you mind if I just jump in for the French really quick?
Yes. Go ahead.
Bon, je vais rapidement mentionner quelques mots ici en français pour les francophones. Bon, à côté, si vous êtes francophone, vous pouvez signaler avec les réactions emoji, si vous voulez. On a parlé du Founder 13 qui commence bientôt. Nous avons, Samuel a souligné le point qu'il ne faut pas mettre Wada comme co-proposer sans consulter Wada. Nous attendons les règles plus précises de Founder 13. Nous ne savons pas s'ils vont ajuster la limite de nombre de proposals cette fois-ci, comme dans le passé, mais on soupçonne que ça peut être le cas. Alors, en prévoyant ça, il ne faut pas mettre Wada comme co-proposer, il ne faut pas trop mentionner dans le titre de votre proposal sans nous consulter. Ça, c'était une parenthèse avec le lancement du fonds de 13. Mercy a aussi mentionné que Wada est prête à soumettre des proposals dans ce fonds. Et je pense que c'était les choses les plus importantes. Maintenant, Mercy va nous parler un peu plus de Intersect et comment ça avance avec la Constitution, etc. All right, Mercy, back over to you to talk about Intersect. You're on mute, though.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm on mute and I started talking. So in terms of some updates, from, an update to the updates that Edufua gave. So last week, sort of over the weekend, we had another Intersect Regional Hub launch in Kenya. That was very successful. About 70 plus people were in attendance, very well attended. And we're hoping that we will get a lot of membership signed up from that event. Today, what we want to announce is that going forward, so between now and December, and maybe even after, a few months after, there is a lot of things that are going to happen in terms of getting everybody's voice captured as far as Cardano goes. So I talked about voter, and basically what that means is that now, instead of just three founding entities taking all the decisions, having all the keys when it comes to decisions on Cardano, now everybody, if we choose to, can actually have a say. So what we're going to do on our Wada Forum is to have a constitutional corner, and we'll be talking a lot about these events that are happening between now and December. So why is December important? So in December, there will be a convention in Argentina, and there will be, it will be attended by over 100 people. But there will be delegates. Delegates and the alternate traveling to Argentina. In fact, it will be more than 100 because there are 63 workshops that is currently going on all around the world. And out of these workshops, two people are going to go to Argentina. And what they are going to do is that they are going to ratify the newly drafted Cardano constitution. So we want to be up to date with that. So far, we've had some constitutional workshops already done in Ghana, in DRC, in Kenya, in Nigeria. There is still some that is pending from Liberia, Cameroon, Burkina Faso. There's actually one that was also done for South Africa. So there is a lot of work that is happening, and all the people that got selected during these will actually make their way to Argentina. I am very excited about that in terms of all the people that I'm going to meet in Argentina. So pretty much we are sort of positioning ourselves to be well informed as far as governance goes in Cardano. So that is why we're going to have this dedicated corner, constitutional corner, between now and December. So this is just to announce that. Right now, Megan, do you want to talk about that before I talk about the committee and board elections? Megan, if you are talking, you're on mute.
Sorry, I was not talking, but I'm getting ready to now. I was looking for the unmute. Bon, rapidement, Mercy est en train de signaler notre futur avec Intersect en termes de gouvernance. Sur cet espace du forum de Wada, nous allons dédier un petit espace qu'on va appeler le coin constitutionnel sur chaque appel. D'ici la fin du année, quoi, parce que en décembre, elle a parlé d'un événement. Je crois que nous sommes plus ou moins tous au courant. On mentionne ça assez souvent ici sur le forum. Mais si vous avez manqué, on va avoir un événement pour parler de la Constitution en Argentine. Pour ceux qui ont fait les ateliers, ils ont sélectionné 2 délégués qui vont y participer. Et bon, ça, c'est une très grande étape dans la gouvernance de Cardano. Alors, on veut vous encourager à y participer en mettant un petit espace ici chaque semaine pour parler des mises à jour, pour avoir vos questions, pour avoir des discussions sur la Constitution et sur la gouvernance Cardano. Bon, je sais qu'il y a d'autres parmi vous qui ont fait les événements chez vous. Nous, au Cameroun, on va avoir notre conférence le week-end prochain. Bon, ce qui est intéressant, cette conférence-ci, nous allons faire dans la zone anglophone du Cameroun. Je pense que nous parlons souvent du Cameroun comme un pays francophone, mais c'est bilingue. Le Cameroun est un pays bilingue et nous allons faire avec nos frères là-bas, nos frères et sœurs anglophones, dans une ville qui s'appelle Boya. Alors, ça, c'est une étape pour nous au Cameroun de comment dire, joindre cette barrière, quoi. Alors, voilà des petites annonces sur ça. Mercy, back to you, or are we passing over to Samuel, actually?
I will quickly talk about the committee and board elections. So,
oh, yes.
Big sort of high level, as we know, in Cardano, there tends to be a lot of emphasis on stake, right? In terms of how much ADA you have, let's all think about Catalyst, ADA and voting, and so on. So there are ways that we are trying to figure out in terms of how this will shape up, especially with the DREP. As Edufua said, we talked quite a bit about DREPs last week. But what I want to talk about right now is that in addition to that stake-based voting and maybe even exploring other additional options with the new Cardano constitution coming up, there's also individual voices. And that is something that is very strongly captured within Intersect and even with the board and committee elections that is actually right now active. Please, if you haven't had a look, make your way to the Intersect website, go to the elections. Between now and I believe the last week in September, you can put in an application. And then I believe from October, I think about 3 weeks in October leading up to the Cardano Summit, that is when voting will be in place. Why is this voting exciting? It is exciting because it doesn't matter how much ADA you have. It just matters if you are a paid up member of Intersect. So that's the $10 a year. So please let's get engaged so that we are also getting our voices heard at the committee level, at the board level, and even in terms of how Intersect runs. When we talk about Intersect, there is a lot that we can contribute over there. There is an annual members meeting that's coming up. There's a lot of exciting things that are coming up. Let us lock in, let us engage, and let us get our voices heard. That is what I'll say for now. But this is time sensitive between now and last week in September. Please go have a look at whether you're interested in committee or in the board. Please put in an application and let's figure out the rest from here in terms of pushing our candidates. Thanks.
Mercy, I have a question.
Yes.
If I heard you well, you said those who can apply for these positions are paid up members of Intersect, right?
That is correct.
So people who are not paid up members as we speak now, can they subscribe to the payment plan and make it in time and get access to the application portal and apply for whatever position that they want, or that window is closed for them?
No, that window is not closed. So between now, okay, so how do I say it? So between now and the time that the application window closes, right, you can still even 1 day to when the application window closes, you can still register to be a member of Intersect and hence put in an application, right? After the window closes, you can still put in an application as a paid up member of Intersect and vote, right? Up to the last date of voting.
All right, then.
$10 a year. It's a very low barrier. So let's see how we can, get our voices heard. I mean, for me, at the end of the day, that is what it's all about. How do we engage? Thanks for that question, Samuel.
Okay, and I did post in the chat. I logged onto the Intersect while you're talking, and it seems like it's very up forwards in your member area, the applications. So I did post those there. I don't yet see an area for voting, but I guess that won't be available until the actual election starts. So
That is correct.
to clarify that.
Thank you.
Et si je peux résumer en français, nous sommes maintenant en train de parler des options que Intersect offre. Nous avons parlé beaucoup de comment déléguer les votes. Par exemple, la fois dernière, nous avons parlé des DIREP. Mais en plus de votre vote délégué, il y a aussi des voix individuelles qui se font qui se rendent dans les élections au conseil d'administration et au comité. Vous vous allez trouver plus d'informations à ce sujet sur le site d'Intersect et j'ai posté dans le chat les deux applications pour, comment dire, pour faire la demande de participer soit dans une des comités ou sur le conseil d'administration. Mais le vote pour cela serait sur la base des individus et pas sur la base de ADA, quoi. Merci. Okay, now I think we're transitioning to talking about Singularity Net. So Samuel, back over to you to talk about Deep Fund 4 project with Edify and Remote Stack.
Yes, thank you very much, Megan.
Should I very quickly? So I know that there will be some events coming up this week and next. So we have the post-launch for the Nairobi Regional Hub. And I'm bringing this up just because it's under Intersect. And also I believe that the Ghana Regional Hub, they are having an event sometime this week or next week. I don't know if anybody wants to throw any light on that. Otherwise, please look out for, if you're in Ghana, there's an event coming up. And if you're in Kenya, there's also an event coming up as far as the regional hub goes. Thank you. Over to you.
Sorry,
Samuel.
Mercy, since you're mentioning it, I did mention in French, but maybe I should also mention in English. But the Cameroon Hub is doing our constitutional workshop next weekend. And something of note for this workshop is we're bridging the gap with the English-speaking part of Cameroon. So I know I often talk about Cameroon as French-speaking, but many of you may know it is a bilingual country. There are 2 English-speaking regions. And for this event, we will be doing it in the English-speaking region, which is our first step on kind of breaching into that community as well and tapping into that for future events. So I just wanted to mention that. Don't know if anyone here will be in Cameroon next weekend, but if you were tempted to, you'd be welcome at our constitutional workshop happening in Boya.
Perfect.
Sorry, Samuel.
I know that. Well, Laurentine is here. Laurentine, are you able to unmute and talk very briefly about your constitutional workshop as well? Coming up, the dates and so on. If not, no worries.
Boaz posted in the chat that it's coming up this Saturday. Burkina Faso.
It is coming up this Saturday from 9 a.m.
Perfect. Okay. So yeah, anybody who is in Burkina Faso or even Northern Ghana, if you want to do a quick ride to Burkina Faso, I think Laurentine will be very happy to have you. Laurentine, do you want to post your Luma link in the chat? We'll continue, but at your at your leisure, put the link in case somebody wants to drive over and support you. Back to you, Samuel.
All right then. So quickly, time is not on our side. I'll use a few minutes to run by you snapshots of the project that we're funding in DF4, WADA in partnership with Edify and Remostat. The proposal was titled Building an Exponential Tech Learning Community. And the main objective for this whole project is to establish a scalable and sustainable tech learning ecosystem across Africa in a bid to empower individuals and communities with their skills and opportunities to thrive in the rapidly evolving digital economy. A little explanation of this objective is the fact that the project is geared towards or is committed to building a robust, scalable, and inclusive tech learning ecosystem in Africa with the aim to create a lasting impact on the digital economy of the continent. So this will be done actually by localizing learning, fostering mentorship, and encouraging community-driven growth. Wada is taking up the lead in terms of the community engagement. Earlier on before this call, we were in a meeting with the other partners. I'm talking about Edify and Bromostat and some other key stakeholders. The community engagement plan had been prepared, so we were discussing about that. Unfortunately, we couldn't come to the conclusive end of that. We are scheduling another meeting to continue with that, and we'll keep you posted on what comes out of it. So far, a number of our licenses have been shortlisted or have been targeted, and this is strictly by the services that you render and how we think you fit into this particular project. And some key considerations or certain things went into that due to the key components of the project, which refers to providing accessible learning resources, encouraging collaboration, offering mentorship, and most importantly, focusing on cutting-edge technologies like AI and blockchain. So, as I said, discussions are still ongoing. Wada is taking up the lead in the whole implementation of the project. And as and when decisions are made as to which exact locations within the African landscape that this project is going to be implemented, and this is in reference to the numerous license hubs that we have that will be made available, and the actual details of the project will be presented, and I will keep you posted accordingly. Yeah, so this is just a short thing we want to talk about in terms of that. Back to you, Megan.
Okay. Thanks, Samuel. Bon, Samuel parlait d'une proposition du côté SingularityNet où ils ont comme but de construire un système d'apprentissage technologique robuste et durable en Afrique. Il s'agira d'encourager une croissance axée sur la communauté. Et il a mentionné que certains hubs ont été présélectionnés sur la façon dont ils peuvent soutenir cette mission et qu'ils vont nous contacter dans les prochains temps, quoi, mais qui sont toujours en train de finaliser le lancement de ce projet avec les autres stakeholders.
Megan, I'll put the link of the particular project in the chats for us to read. Anybody who is interested to read further, and ahead of the team or the partners working out the implementation processes and everything. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Samuel. I think next part of the agenda, we're looking forward to hearing from Nana Safo. I know he was having a little bit of issue with his internet this morning or this afternoon. But Nana Safo, are you able to unmute and talk to us a little bit about how to delegate to a DREP?
Yes, thanks, Megan. Okay, so am I coming through loud and clear?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, thank you. So I mean, at this point, I would like to share my screen. Edify, if you don't mind. Pardon me, my network is really poor this afternoon, so I might you might hear me kind of breaking and stuff, but let's see how things will go from here. All right, so today we're talking about, or we are looking at basically how to delegate to a DREP. And as we have now evolved into the phase of, or the era of the Voltaire, it is very paramount that for each and every existing ADA wallet, right? Whether either it is tagged as a delegate representative, which is a DREP, or it is tagged as delegated to a DREP. And this is going to be very vital because very soon to come, even if you are staking to a stake pool and you are not delegated to a DREP, you will not be able to receive your stake rewards. So you will have to delegate to a DREP to enable your your staking rewards, the withdrawal of your staking rewards. Of course, your rewards will be there, but then you'll not be able to withdraw it, right, until you delegate to a DREP. And talking about the DREPs, at this particular moment, I would say we have three main bodies. We have one that is for abstain, and then one that is for no confidence, and then one that is for what do you call it? The other general DREPs that we are going to see coming shortly. So if you want to vote, or if you want to delegate to a DREP, automatically there are two main slots which are automatic already. That is the abstain and then the no confidence that you can actually delegate your wallet to. Or if you have a specific DREP that you want to also delegate to, and I believe that is going to be the case for most of us, then you have the opportunity to actually, search for that particular DREP and then do your delegation to them. And how do you search for this particular DREP? So in the guardrails or in the guidelines, we have stated clearly that each and every DREP, as and when you are registering to become a DREP, you are supposed to provide a link where people can basically look out for you and then follow your activities. And this link can be your your socials platform or your official website or whatever you have, right? So for instance, if you are using a Wada DREP as an example, because we have a website and we also have socials, we can choose to use any for that particular purpose, right? But I'm sure that majority of DREPs that we are going to see, except a few, they are going to use their socials, especially Twitter, either Twitter or Reddit, for that particular purpose. So when you hop onto their Twitter platform, you would see them showcasing their DREP ID, and that is basically what you need to be able to delegate to a DREP in this governance era. So, for instance, last week, I think our very own Megan introduced to us, the Lauku DREP, and of course, you could say that you know the name, so you want to go and search for the name. But the typical example here, classical example, I'll put in the name Lauku, and you realize that we have no DREPs found. Well, I don't know, Megan, you can come in if you guys use a different name for it. But at this particular denture, Lauku is not showing up, right? So which means that it's either I get the DREP ID for Lauku, or if they use another name to, Megan, did you use another name for that?
I'm just as surprised as you are here, so I will need to look into this. I believe it was registered under Lauku, so I will check on that. Thanks, Nana Safo.
I'm quite sure the search engine has been programmed such that it accepts, or it serves through the database of DREP IDs and not DREP names. Those DREP names and stuff, they are kind of offline data, so it might not necessarily be a search factor to consider. So the DREP ID would be the key thing to actually look out for when you want to delegate to a DREP. So at this point, if you don't mind, you could just put your DREP ID for Lauku in the chat. I'll just copy it and then demonstrate how it works. And this is also not just a platform you can use for the delegation. You can actually delegate straight from your Eternal wallet. And what that means is that you do not have to come through GovTools to be able to delegate to a DREP, but instead, right from your Eternal wallet, you can just go ahead and then how do I get this thing to disappear? Okay, so I see Megan has put it, yes. So let me just copy that and then demonstrate it for you. Yeah. So now I have the DREP ID for Lauku. Let's see how it works. I'm just going to paste it here and then search it. So now you can see. So the name is actually Lauku, but when you search with the name Lauku, you are not going to get the DREP to be able to delegate to. And right from here, you can see that automatically they already have 136,000 ADA worth of delegation, right? And if you want to also have the chance to look at, some details about them, you can look at it from here. So now you can see their objectives. You can see the objectives, you can see their motivations, you can see their qualifications, and then the links that I was talking about, right? You can see the links here. You can also see the identity, which is the individuals who are part of that particular committee. You can see it here. And then the payment address. So that is the address that they use to actually register or create the DREP that you are seeing now, right? So this is kind of a bit of information about them. And then this button basically enables you to delegate to them, right? But let me show you from Eternal. So this is Eternal. I created this particular wallet just to demonstrate the, the delegation. So immediately you get on Eternal, this is what you are presented with, right? After, logging in your wallet, this is what you have. You realize that on this particular tab, right, there's an option called voting. So if you want to delegate, all you have to do is to click on the voting. But before then, make sure that this is on. This basically allows your browser or your wallet to connect with dApps, decentralized applications. It might be useful for the governance actions. So when you click on voting, there are two main tabs that you're going to look at. You have Catalyst project funding, and then we have the blockchain governance, right? So this one basically do with a Catalyst voting system, which is not ready yet. And then the next one that you will have to look out for is the blockchain governance. This is where you're going to participate in terms of Cardano governance era. So now you realize that the status of this particular wallet is undelegated. And there is this screen here that is telling you that, I don't know if it's questionable, but they're saying that consider delegating to a DREP for governance actions, as it will be required in the following era to be able to withdraw staking rewards. So like I was saying earlier, if you do not delegate your wallet to a DREP, you will not be able to withdraw your staking rewards, right? So you'll have to consider that if you really want to withdraw your staking rewards. Now, to be able to delegate, if you come down here, there are options that you can actually go through. And like I said, there are two main automatic delegation pool that you can actually assign yourselves to, and that is the abstain and the no confidence, right? So abstain basically means that with your wallet, you want it to vote on, for each and every proposal that will pop up, your wallet should basically vote abstain, right? And then no confidence also means that, whenever there is a submission of no confidence proposal, as against the interim constitution committee, your wallet should be able to participate on that particular governance action. And then now, the main ones that we are going to look at is the own account, specified DREP ID. And of course, because it is Eternal and they are also running as DREPs, so they have also set up their DREP committee. So they also have it here as an option that you can actually choose to delegate to. But then the four main ones are the own account, the specified DREP ID, abstain, no confidence. Own account basically means that you want to create your own DREP. You want to become your own DREP. So when you click on that and then, you delegate to your own DREP after setting it up. And then specified DREP ID means you want to delegate to an existing DREP, right? So in our case, we are going to click on specified DREP ID. And then now you are asked to provide the DREP ID. So like I said, if you know the DREP name and you don't have the ID, you cannot delegate to them. So you have to figure out what their ID is. And you can basically do that by visiting their socials, for instance, Twitter. So I just post Laku's DREP ID here, and it is there. With Eternal, you're not going to have that interface that will actually allow you to learn more about the DREP before you even do your delegation, right? But now, since you put the ID here, we assume that you've already done your research and stuff, so you can just go ahead to delegate. All right, these are some credentials about CIP 1694 and CIP 129 that you can look at later on if you want to, but it is not really needed here. So you just click on delegate, and then now you commit the transaction. And with this particular error, all that matters is that you have an amount of ADA in your wallet. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you don't need like 500 ADA at least to be able to delegate, right? You can have 3 ADAs in your wallet and you should be able to delegate. The most important thing is that you have enough ADA to be able to cover for the transaction fees, and then everything should be good. So you just put in your password and then you sign, and then that is that. So it will be reflected that you have delegated to a DREP. And same thing works from here on the graph tools. So when you just click on the connect to delegate, first off, you need to connect your wallet. And in connecting your wallet, there are 3 options here. You have Eternal, you have Euroware, and then you have Lace, right? So if you are using the Euroware wallet to store your funds, you can just connect it here, but it has to be the browser version, as you can see here. So when you go to Google Chrome/apps, you should be able to download Euroware from there and install it on your browser. Same as Eternal and then Lace, right? So if you click on any of them, you just connect. So here, like I said earlier, you should have your DApp connector already on. This one. Once you click on this, it will disconnect, and then once you click on it again, it will connect. So once it connects, it's green, but if it disconnects, it's gray. So you have to, have it connected. Because I've clicked on it here already, let me just let me close this and then demonstrate how it looks like. Okay, so answer for now. So now I'm disconnected. So now that I'm disconnected, it means that I cannot connect my Eternal wallet to the GovTools platform. So now you see, it says, oops, user cancelled connect. Fine, let's click connect again and then select Eternal. It will actually not work even if I go through, right? And this is even pre-prod. Okay, so let's just cancel this. You see, so it says switch to, I don't know if you can see it. Can you see this? It's saying that switch to the Eternal browser extension and activate your DApp account. So if you don't do that,
yeah, what we're seeing is oops, user canceled connection.
Yeah, I thought I was sharing my entire screen. Never mind. So now what I will do is I'll just come back to Eternal and I'll connect this again, right? So once this is on, now it means I can actually connect my wallet to the GovTools platform. So now you click on connect wallet and then you click on Eternal. Okay, you guys will not see this screen. So let me just share my screen again shortly. Let me share the entire desktop here. Okay, so you can see this now, right? Or do you have any multiples?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, so something is happening. It's not supposed to be happening, but I know why. Eternal beta is also on, so let me just switch off Eternal beta. Take some time. Okay, I was doing some test with this. I'll just switch it off and then that is it. I should do. All right, so now I can focus on the main Eternal. All right, so it is on. From here, just click on connect wallet, select Eternal. Good. So now I have just this one. And then you read this and then you have to grant access. So I will grant access. Okay. Oh. Why is it in pre-prod? No problem.
So yeah, maybe what we should do, I think that you've really showed the high level, at least even from the wallet itself, like Eternal, Euroi, or Lace. We can probably do the delegation. It's not too different from staking, right? So maybe what we can do is that we can, I don't know, between now and when Chunk 2 kicks off, maybe once a month we can review this again. So if that's okay with you, Nana Safo, I think that this has been a brilliant presentation. In terms of some of the things that actually still need improvement on the site, so maybe these are things that we can feedback to the GovTool team. But yeah, I think that even so far with the little that you have shown, I think that delegation, we can all delegate. So feel free to wrap up, and let's revisit this again in about, like next month, so that people are up to date in terms of when it comes to how to delegate. How about that?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Probably next week or next 2 weeks, or when we have time, we can just look at it to wrap it up. It is not much of a big deal. Once you're able to connect your wallet, you should be able to, delegate very easily. Or better, so you can just delegate from Eternal. But if you want to read more about, a setting DREP before you delegate to them, when you get to gov.tools, I'll put a link in the chat. So when you get to gov.tools, and then you just, hover over to DREP directory, automatically you have the chance to look at all DREPs who have basically, registered and are active, right? And there's a filter button here which allows you to filter between active and inactive and retired DREPs, right? So it makes it easy for you to actually, look at the existing DREPs. And like I said, you will need a DREP ID to be able to search for a DREP and not necessarily the DREP name. And then you can use the view details to basically read about them and what they are all about. And then you can, take it up from there. So I think, yeah, that should pretty much be okay. If anybody has any questions, I'm glad to take them.
Thanks again, Anasafo. So it looks like Megan needed to jump off. So Samuel, do you want to take this away and wrap it up? Samuel, if you are talking, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Am I coming through now?
Yes.
Yes, at this point, we have passed the top of the hour. And if anybody has questions now for Anasafo, they can raise their hand quickly. And then we can bring today's session to an end. Or Mercy, if you have any reactions to all that has been said on the call today, maybe you can go ahead.
Nothing from me. Maybe let's share our socials, and we can continue the conversation offline. But very appreciative for everybody that has, that turned out today, and to all our presenters, and Anasafo, Megan, Edufua, and Samuel. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, so that's a wrap for today's edition of Wada Forum. Always don't forget to log on to our website. It's www.wada.org. If you have any reactions, concerns, questions, reach out to us at hello@wada.org, and also join our socials. We are on Facebook, we are on X, we are on YouTube, IG, LinkedIn, Discord, and all the other relevant social media spaces. Thank you very much, and let's have another interesting and informative, educative session next week. Take care of yourself. Until then, bye-bye from here.